Hello, everyone. Mr. Reshtov here, going over your quick assignment, which is titled Music Tech Questions. We are exactly halfway through the marking period, so at this point, you should kind of have an idea of what music technology is. So this is just a kind of a brief questionnaire, and I'll go over the questions. Question number one: what is music technology? What is it? What does it mean to use technology? What is technology? Without the music factor. Um, that does it always have to involve, um, electricity? Does it need computers? Um, and the answer is no. Technology is just using tools. So what does it mean to use music technology? Um, Question number two is, what is the Industrial Revolution's impact on music? So you have to do a little research on what the Industrial Revolution was, when it took place, what it involved, and this is one of the bigger questions. It's about 10 points. So I want you to talk about the types and qualities of instruments that were available during this time. What that meant for distribution of instruments, there's distribution of services. What does that all mean? What is the Industrial Revolution and how did it impact music making, maybe music recording, the instruments in general that were available, listening to music, hearing music. There's a lot to consider. What is all that? Number three, basically number three, 3A, 3B, 3C is basically the same question, but now we're talking about the digital revolution as opposed to the industrial revolution. The digital revolution came later, and this is when we start to talk about computers. When did that take place? How did it impact music? How did what specifically for 3B, what is the significance of computers on music technology? How did it make musicians' jobs easier? Recording, writing, editing. How did that make lives easier or harder? In most cases, it did make it easier, but maybe it made some things more difficult. So that's pretty straightforward. And the last question before the next part is number four, which is, what is the difference between a music producer and an audio engineer? They are two different jobs, two different functions. A music producer does one thing, and an audio engineer or a sound engineer, that's the same, audio or sound. Audio engineer, sound engineer are a different job function. So I want you to give me three things that a music producer does and three things that an audio engineer does. If you write that a music producer produces music, I will not count it as an answer. Same thing here. If you write that an audio engineer or a sound engineer engineers sound or engineers audio, I will not count it as an answer. You have to give me a specific function. What does a music producer do? What is his role in terms of, in terms of recording a band, in terms of, producing music, producing a record? What does that mean? Give me three specific things that a music producer does and three specific things that an audio engineer does. I do not want the same thing listed for both. So for a music producer may do the exact same thing that an audio engineer does. It's especially in smaller productions. The band will hire one person who is going to do a producer and engineer job at the same time. Instead of hiring two different people, you will hire one person to do both things. So there is a little bit of an overlap in terms of what the jobs are, but I want you to list three separate different things. So you should have 6 different sentences, 6 different roles total for each, or for both the producer and the engineer, 3 each. The next step, the next one is the big question. This is worth about 20 points, 21 points. And we're talking about analog versus digital audio sound. I will give you more information a little bit next week when we start to talk about the science of sound waves and how that works. But I want you to start to do a little research. What does it mean? That sound is analog or sound is digital. What does that mean? I want to see what you come up with. So as opposed to giving you a lecture and a presentation and giving you basically all the answers, I want to see what you can come up with for this one. So what is the difference between analog and digital? Make sure you write whatever you write that you understand what it means. There is a lot of technical answers that I've gotten in the past, and I guarantee that you have no idea what that, the very technical wording, what it means. So try to, do some research and write down what you understand. What is the difference between analog and digital audio? Which one is usually better quality? By better quality, specifically, technically, I mean higher fidelity. That's when we're talking about hi-fi, right? Higher fidelity. That is not with the genre of music lo-fi. It's not the same. So we're just talking about better quality. If you think of it as like a low quality YouTube video, and then you have an HD video, then you have Blu-ray video, then you have 4K, then you have Ultra 4K, and then you have 8K. You have all these great, video. The same exists for audio. So the question is, which one, analog or digital, is better quality, right? Which one sounds better? And don't just say analog or digital. Give me a reason why analog or digital would have a better sound. What is the advantage of using analog to play and record video? Or I'm sorry, to play and record audio? And 5D is, what is the advantage of using digital? Each one, analog and digital, they both have pros and cons. For 5C and 5D, I want you to list the advantage. What's the pro of using analog equipment, or just analog in general, to play and record audio? And same thing, what is the advantage of using digital to play and record audio? That's it. This is a big question. We're going to talk. I'm going to give you more visual representation and bigger definitions for this later on. The first 4 questions are pretty straightforward. A lot of you were talking about composers and producers for your podcast. So, just wanted to find out if you know the difference. And that's it.